Thank you for tuning in. I'm here now with Hassan Kirby, and Hassan and I have done a number of different activities in our community in relationship to raising awareness around issues that are important. Hassan is someone who has been very instrumental in helping a number of individuals recover in their lifestyles. Most of the things that you have been able to accomplish have been inspirational in many ways, because the type of relationship that you build helps energize the emotional aspects of individuals who have found pretty much limitations and difficulties, and you have shown them ways in which they can overcome their burdens and create a better lifestyle for themselves. Hassan, thank you very much again for giving me an opportunity to share with our viewers how valuable you are to our community. But you have a life that you had to overcome. Talk to us about your transition.
Well, thank you for having me on the show again. Well, my transition was one of those ones of once a knucklehead out here destroying the community, doing everything to dehumanize people who was hardworking citizens. So that led me down that path of incarceration and everything. But I vowed that when I came out there, I had to help the community just the way I messed up the community. I had to go hard. I had to stay up. Just like I broke night when I was out here doing wrong things, I had to come out here and break night doing the right things now. So I just start seeing that if I could change the way a person thinks and look at himself, then I could change the way people perceive them and treat them. So I had to start with me first. You know, I started changing the way I dress, changing the way I speak. And I said, well, if it's working for me, I'm being accepted by the right people now instead of the wrong crowds. Maybe if I pass this on to some of my other brothers, I could change that for them too and have a paradigm shift right there. And that's what started this. It wasn't easy. And I know it's not going to be easy to continue to get people to buy into this thing that I'm doing now for Dress for Success. If you dress for success, you can become successful. Instead of trying to dress, you can be part of the hood and not dress like the hood. Because it's all a mentality. Hood is a mentality. It's not a race. It's not a person, place, or thing. Hood is a mentality. And if I could get them out of the hood mentality, then we could change some things around.
And talking about it as a mindset, and even in as much, it certainly is a manner in which you condition yourself.
Yes.
And in some aspects, a lot of times we want to have an independent identity, or want to be able to be, I guess, characterized as being a part of a particular kind of group or a particular type of a society. How do you put into perspective the positive aspects of fashion where it can emulate something that can help someone grow?
I put it into perspective like this. I figure if you want someone to do something different, you got to be willing to do different things. If you want difference, do something different. That's it. And that's it. That's the bottom line of it. You can't say, I want to work for a corporation, yet you come to an interview with your pants sagging. You come to an interview with a body shirt on. And for the females, you come to the interview showing everything. You put out the image, that's what you get. So if you change the way you present yourself, you could change the way people look at you. And that society has a society all across has a standard that has been woven into the fabrics of the American culture. So you can't change something that's been here since the beginning of time. Time is going to be here. We had this thing where it's two type of times, black people time and white people time. But that's only us looking at it like that. Because have you ever seen 6 o'clock, get on 6 o'clock and say, you know what, hold on, let me get on 6 o'clock at 6:30. We the only one do that. So, you know, I tell people the importance of time, the importance of principles. over personalities. I keep saying this over and over. People don't focus on the principles because they're so caught up in the personalities. Even with the dressing. Okay, you say, look, why do I got to wear a $100 suit? Why not? I have yet to see anybody say to Steve Harvey, why do you wear suits every day? Steve Harvey was wearing suits before he became who he is, and he's still wearing suits every day. No one ever says, Steve Harvey, did you ever wear? But let a person like me wear a suit every day, man, don't take all that. It takes all that and more.
When you look at it also, there are a number of conditions, just like you're saying, and here it is. You know, I could have sat up here with a T-shirt on, but the reality is that there's such a better presence by using accessories. And using accessories has always been a common type of a way in which certain styles are used in certain environments. Just like you say, when you go into a work environment, you want to be identified in a certain way, and that's having a sense of knowing what that business is and your presence is there. Accessories are so important, and something as simple as a tie. Now, today, you and I shared a moment in which you really brought into existence an exposure that a number of individuals had probably had in their lifestyle, but was never really provided in the manner in which you did. Why don't you explain to the viewers exactly what happened and how did it evolve into today's activity?
What happened was I happened to go to this place in Newark called the Integrity House, and I noticed that a guy had asked another guy, could you help me tie my tie? I said, you don't know how to tie a tie? How old are you? He said, I'm 34 years old. You don't know how to tie a tie at 34? You can go on YouTube and learn how to tie a tie, but you don't choose to do that. You have to come and ask another man to teach you how to tie a tie. So after I saw that, I said, you know what, y'all? I'm coming back. And I'm going to come back with ties and teach each of you how to tie a tie who don't know how to tie a tie. So what I did is I put it on Facebook, and I was shocked by the overwhelming response. I didn't even have a goal of as to how many ties I was going to raise. But as they started coming in, I wound up with, at the end of the day, 152 ties.
Wow.
And some of the biggest contributors of the ties were females.
Wow.
One female in general was Persia Oliver from Odyssey International. She donated, so I said, whoa, it's something behind females donating ties when men the ones that had the ties in the closet. So from that, I already had the date for today for April 20th for the from 1 o'clock to 3. I got permission from the staff down there at the Integrity House, and I said I needed to do this. At first, the guys was reluctant because who are you to come in here with your tie on and talk about teaching us how to tie a tie? They didn't know my past experience,
right?
Because I was once in the Integrity House,
and you were brought through that process.
I was brought through that process, but no one was there to teach me how to do this. I learned how to tie with a pair of socks.
Really?
Yeah, I got 2 pairs of socks, tied them together, and I did it on my leg.
Okay.
And that's how I taught myself how to tie a tie.
Oh wow.
And from there, I said, is it important? So I put on Facebook that today I wanted to have a tie or bow tie for Change Day. But everybody just donated ties. Nobody donated bow ties to me.
Really?
So I couldn't go there and show the guys how to tie bow ties.
Okay.
But I did show them how to tie ties. So I got the ties. I went down there. They was reluctant until after I spoke to them a little while. And it was phenomenal to see the interaction of these men helping other men tie ties, and it was great when you came in because you came in on that
at a
part.
moment that really showed the inspiration behind the whole aspects of just a simple thought and a simple idea. And you know, it's interesting that you did it in an environment where individuals are looking for a second chance.
Yes.
And this was something that was more, I would say, to be therapeutic. Even in as much it generated a method that showed even individuals who at one time was withdrawn or reluctant began to see that this was not only a task to do, but a skill to accomplish.
Yes.
How did you think that was really going to turn out?
I was scared. I'm not gonna lie, because here it is. You're telling men who already being told what to do every day by someone else, you need to learn how to tie a tie today. That's why I'm here. I didn't think it was going to go off too well, but when it did, I said, this can be something. And I'm really looking forward to turn this into something big. I would like to go to different programs who have people that society say are not going to be anything. If I could get there and show these little skills like this and speak to them, even at the school levels, if I could get into the high schools, the colleges, and start stressing the importance of dressing.
And that's a very good point there, because I think what really was brought out is that these individuals who are there looking for a second chance didn't have the first chance. And if we are able to give this kind of opportunity to individuals in their first chance, they may not need a second chance.
At all. Because what happens is, you know, the word is rehabilitation, they call it. And I always stress that how can you rehabilitate something that has never been rehabilitated?
Wow.
And if I could go rehabilitate the youths, if I could get them now, they wouldn't have no need to go through a second chance for rehabilitation, because they know the importance of finances. They know the importance of success. They know the importance of what they say out of their mouth as well as how they speak and how they dress.
And looking at some of the other factors about what was going on, is that there are a number of different ways to tie the tie. You have one of the new fashion statements going on.
The Trinity knot.
The Trinity knot.
This is the Trinity knot.
Explain the Trinity knot.
The Trinity knot, I was watching YouTube one day, and I seen it, and I was blown by it. I said, I'm going to learn that knot. I stayed there. I rewind the video about 4 times. Got it. I haven't stopped wearing it since.
And I noticed it.
I haven't stopped.
At first I was thinking and looking at it, and it says, it looked like it's backward. It's not me. I'm a bow tie guy anyway. But I really like the way that knot looks. It's very handsome.
It is.
It's sharp. And it shows a really classy attitude.
Yeah, thank you.
And I thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to share with the viewers just how important a concept can be just from a simple conversation, and how well it can help others, especially individuals who want to make a better life for themselves. Yes. And it's really important that people understand about you, Hassan, that the things that you're doing, you've written books, you have 2 books.
One, and I'm on the second one now. Yes.
So the second book that you're on, what is it? Share with us exactly. Share with us the first book.
The first book was dealing with incarceration, and it was called "I'm More Than a State Number." And the reason I chose that title, "I'm More Than a State Number," because once you do crime and you do things, you have a number, and your number shouldn't define who you are as an individual. You know how they say your attitude determines your altitude? Well, my attitude determined my altitude, but when I got to a certain point, I had to shift. I had to make a switch. And once I got there, I learned that I'm not defined by a number no more. You call me 267988, which is a state number, but that's not who I am. I'm not a state number. I'm not a menace to society. I'm not a criminal. Because I've done some things, that doesn't constitute who I am. If you want to get to know me, speak to me. Don't judge me from afar. How we've been doing so many of the kids today with the pants sagging and everything. We look at them afar and we judge them. That's a gang member. Not knowing what that kid is suffering in his home. That's right. Or what he or she may be going through. So I wrote the book for that reason, to try to get society and get criminal justice majors and criminologists to look at things differently, let you know that, hold on, this is not why people do this. It's a coach behavior, learned behavior, but if it's a coach behavior, just like it was coached and learned, it can be unlearned. So I had to break that. I was working on my volume 2 of that, but I stopped because I see a greater need for the second book that I'm working on now, which is called "I'm the Parent, Not Your Friend."
Really?
And that came about because I'm getting so many calls from parents who don't understand the teens today.
How are you a parent?
Yes.
You have children?
Yes.
Okay. And you have noticed it from your experiences, a better way in which you can approach parenting?
is a better way in which you could approach parenting. But in my case, I was the one who was not there. So since I wasn't able to be there in my daughter's life because of the incarceration, now I have a second chance to give to these young ladies, to give to these young men what I would have gave to mine. So that's what I do now. Every day I'm out here and I talk to the parents, because a lot of parents don't know what their kids are out here drinking, what their kids are out here smoking, and no parent wants to be looked upon as a bad parent.
Right.
But it doesn't make you a bad parent to get help. If you come to me and ask for help, that makes you a great parent, because that says I care about my child enough to go get help. And that's the paradigm shift we need to have right now in our community. For parents who, if you can't relate, it's okay. There's someone who can relate. So that's why the book, I'm the Parent, Not the Friend, Not Your Friend, is so important, because parents even dress like their kids. They doing the same dance as their kids. And you wonder why your kids are so disrespectful and failing in school. Because you're talking to them as they're grown. For a parent to sit up there and yell at a kid like they would yell at another adult is absurd.
Yeah.
So if I could switch all that around, give them, I'm not trying to say this is the law on parenting. I'm just trying to give you a different way to look at it.
In most cases, parents, especially those who are young and have very little experience in understanding how to communicate with the youth, use it as a vehicle of saying, well, they understand. And in most cases, they really do. But they don't have the mindset to know how to identify with what they need to be doing as an adult, because they're still trying to overcome the opportunity of being a child. So those differences have to be significant in how you approach dealing with them. And some people need help, and there's nothing wrong. You don't need to be ashamed to admit you need help. Those are great tools that an individual can be able to use.
Yes.
You also had a program, Team Resurrection.
Yes, yes. Well, Team Resurrection, we're still going strong. We're still feeding over at 624 a night, every third week of the month. And I shift from that myself. I stopped doing the feeding, and my co-workers that work with me, and the CEO, she does it now.
Okay.
I changed from that because my schedule has been getting swamped.
But it has been really
Yes.
part of the process of doing outreach in the community,
Yes.
positive things, creating positive images, and developing ways in which we can truly say that we're partners in
Yes.
rebuilding the village. The concept is so important. Responsible citizenship begins with you. Mr. Kirby, Hassan Kirby, really appreciate you. We're certainly going to be happy to continue to work with you and find other opportunities where we can raise awareness about what's important for our community. We thank you very much.
Thank you so much.